Hello, friends. Please consider supporting my Flavors and Knowledge podcast. Donated proceeds are applied to absorb the cost of cooking classes and health education for children. Help a child affected with diabetes with a donation toward the proper management of the condition through Food First. This message is brought to you by Chef Walter's Children Diabetes Foundation.
Flavors and Knowledge is a bilingual podcast focusing on gastronomic education in relation to a healthy lifestyle through Food First. Our philosophy carries a moral obligation of sharing sensible knowledge to generate social awareness. Podcasts are in English with an accent and Italian.
Dear listeners, welcome back. This is Chef Walter with another episode of Flavors and Knowledge. And today I would like to spend a few words on a friend who continues to make a lot of people happy. Every morning at about 6 a.m., Cosimo della Torre turns the lights on at the quaint bread shop located on the De Pasquale Avenue in Providence. He's been baking fresh bread for almost 20 years now for Venda Food Emporium, which is on Federal Hill, the Little Italy of the state of Rhode Island. As you know, the life of a bread maker is certainly one of the most enduring in the food business. Often, the price of bread does not justly reward the hours of preparation and detailed attention that's required to produce a good loaf of bread. 30 years ago, when bakeries made old-fashioned bread, along with pastries and cookies, it was business as usual and certainly not a novelty. Today, however, when most food franchises use the pot-baked loaf, which are then finished off in local restaurants and bread shops, finding artisanal bread, it's a novelty and a celebration of traditions which is worth writing about and certainly talking about in this podcast. Cosimo della Torre defines the word artisan, a man with great dedication and respect for his trade. However, it really didn't start that way. He spent 6 years as a sergeant major for l'Aeronautica Militare Italiana, which is equivalent to our Air Force here in the States. He was stationed in the city of Novara, in the region of Piedmont, northwestern Italy. But once he arrived here in Providence, the baking trade called him. The rest has been nothing less than an enormous success and a wonderful gift for the most discriminating palates. Few foods are as fundamental as bread, nor as diverse. If we talk about Italy, for instance, the country boasts about 350 types of bread, and no surprise from a country that has had professional bakers since the 2nd century B.C.E. And while some incorporate unusual grains such as maize, barley, or rye, the overwhelming majority of Italian breads are made from semolina or durum wheat. The form the bread takes can vary by regional traditions, and sometimes from town to town. However, all around Italy, you can find the rustic Italian bread made with just 4 ingredients. Of course, yeast, water, salt, and flour. The bread may not be usually pretty bread to look at, but it's certainly deliciously tasty. The fermentation of the yeast is what gives the bread its tastiness. Simplicity is the main characteristic of rustic bread, which is mirrored in the life of the Italian people in the countryside. And rarely is there an Italian meal that does not include bread. Ancient tools and ovens provide proof that man has been making loaves of bread for thousands of years. And, like many other foods, the ancient Romans took the art of bread making to a higher level. And in addition to enhancing the milling techniques of wheat, the Romans also were the first to produce flour, which could be baked into some type of white bread. Rome even opened a baking school in the 1st century AD. On a recent early morning conversation about bread, I stopped by the bake shop. Conversing about, of course, his past, he said that was exactly what he had envisioned. He wanted the American consumer to really taste the flavor and the structure of great Italian bread, made solely with simplicity and time. Cosimo has high standards for his bread. He allows the yeast to fully rise over the course of several hours, developing a thin crust. His customers value the size of his loaves of bread because every family member needs to be properly nourished. He also prefers his bread to have a soft and a chewy interior, which, as you know, is ideal for absorbing those condiments such as olive oil, vinegar, tomatoes, and other selected toppings. We know that he has certainly succeeded, as his rustic formulations are really appreciated by the ritual of the sales. Recently he said, people come from all over to buy my bread because they finally understand the intricacy of developing a good yeast, flour, and water relationship, as he stands in front of his beloved ovens, who never really betrays his creations. He personally selects the flour and the quality of the leavening, including the alkaline in the water, which is fundamental in the science of bread making. Not every water is the same or suitable for bread, he concludes. Through the years, Cosimo has also upgraded his facility, starting in a small bake shop in the 90s, where the production was, of course, limited to the number of sales and the reduced size of the available equipment. But as the business grew and more consumers requested the specialties, upgrades were made and eventually moved the bake shop to its current location. If you happen to visit Federal Hill in Providence, seek for Venda Food Emporium. And please meet Alan Costantino, the owner, which fully endorses the philosophy of good bread making. Through the years, he has certainly invested in superior quality ingredients and the most innovative source of technology. Many very stylish forms of loaves of bread can be found at the store, from your rustic Italian loaf to focaccia, panini, ciabatte, flatbreads, Sicilian, spagnotte, and many more displayed daily at the entrance of the store. Recently, Cosimo found the time to even bake a personal loaf of bread for me. He used a similar procedure, usually found in the DOP bread, which stands for Denomination of Protected Origin, of bread from Altamura in Puglia and the bread from Genzano in the Lazio region. The first originated in the town of Altamura in Puglia, as we said, but it has its roots back as far as the 1st century B.C.E. The aromatic pane di Genzano was made at home into round loaves or long sticks baked in wood-fired stoves. The long fermentation of the procedures allow loaves to develop a wonderful texture and uneven perforation for a sublime experience in taste and appeal. I also must inform you that Cosimo's pane di campagna, translated into country bread, is only available by request because of the intricate process of making it. I must also add that with Cosimo's bread, I personally entered a competition in Italy called the Bread for the King, and it was presented in the city of Parma. I must tell you, it went very well for me, and I'll share the glory with him, as he continues to create new fragrances of fresh bread every morning at 6 a.m. on Federal Hill in Providence. And that concludes today's episode on Federal Hill Breadman with Cosimo della Torre. Please subscribe to Flavors and Knowledge on your preferred platform. Also join us on our YouTube channel under Chef Walter's Cooking School for the New Zucchini 24 videocast series. Subscribe to the Flavors and Knowledge newsletter, which is offered on Substack.com for the latest chronicles on food, health, wellness, recipe, and all things related to sensible knowledge through food first. We reconnect on the next round. Stay safe. and eat well. Ciao, ciao.
Flavors and Knowledge is brought to you by Chef Walter's Cooking School in Cranston, Rhode Island. For classes, workshops, events, and programs, please visit our website at chefwalterscookingschool.com. For all other services offered by Chef Walter's Food Group, check out our main website, chefwalter.com.